Welcome to the August 27th bhyve production user call. We have Andrew, Hans, Patrick, Joe, Santi, Hazem, Eva, and myself, Michael, so far, and we are narrowing in on the bhyvecon schedule. We have some great things lined up. If you are attending EuroBSDcon, I strongly encourage you to note the additional slot session that you can add to your registration. You can pay whatever amount is in your budget. I will have some merch with me. I'm experimenting with a store that's only serving the US right now, but I'm working on international shipping. Uh, that is an experiment for other projects. Uh, Someone pointed out this week that there is a virtio-gpu kmod for FreeBSD such that on, as I understand it, on Apple Silicon, you can have a FreeBSD guest with accelerated graphics. Can anyone chime in on that, or have you tried it? If not, take a peek. There it is. And the review for USB device pass-through has been getting attention and got some attention at BSDCan, such as working out the back behind-the-scenes capsicum work. From, I believe, Tuesday's call, we had a laundry list of features we need because, hey, we need our YubiKeys, we need our license keys, we need a bunch of things. So there's a lot of excitement about that review. Let's see, did Emil join? Emil did not join, so I'll just relay some lovely news I received about 2 days ago. The virtiofs reviews are coming along, so please take a peek at these. He feels it's ready to go, but it's in definitely review territory. So there is the syntax, and that's been years in the making. So I believe under perhaps also UTM on an Apple Silicon machine, you might have a mix of accelerated graphics and virtiofs mounts. So that's kind of cool. Any questions or news on that that I haven't shared? And Hazem, I understand you have some exciting news. You have the floor. And if you want to share
Okay,
your screen, go ahead.
okay. So I had two different uses. One of them is I don't know if you guys remember, but last time I mentioned this IPC patch set that I was pretty, passionate about.
Mhm.
I think his name is Boyan. Yeah, he took out that, the thing that I needed to make memory ballooning work, and he put it on current, which is good enough for me for now. And so far it's been good. So I'll probably have the ballooning driver in like next week or something. We're testing right now in our office, and it works great. So yeah, that's one of the news. And the other one
Fantastic.
is we got VO.3 released, which comes with like a huge improvements into Sylve and how it manages itself, and a lot of resource efficiencies, things like that. And with it comes, a CLI management tool, so you can
Oh, wow.
kind of
Okay.
sell with, the GUI. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's pretty feature complete. It can manage jails, it can manage VMs, it can manage tasks, it can manage all sorts of stuff. Um, and the documentation too, I'm very happy with it now because it's very comprehensive, and we have guides for stuff like VMware migration and some really cool setup like running the KDE desktop environment inside a jail, which I kind of figured out you can do. And RDP works great with audio and stuff. So, and I also put in some like shell scripts to make installation of Linux applications easier. So you can kind of use app images and stuff like that pretty seamlessly. Um, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, documentation is where it's at right now because I think I spent close to a month just working on docs. Um, but I'm pretty happy with it now.
Cool. I know various people present have been trying it and ran into some little bumps here and there. Does this include bug fixes across the board?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Great.
the issues. I think the port. I mean, the builds on package is not there yet, even though the port is updated. but most people just run package install and they
Yes.
don't, get the latest stuff. So
When do you think that build will take place and be completed?
that's a good question, and I honestly don't know the answer. I just click and refresh the package
You just keep
build.
refreshing. Yeah, you too, huh? Very cool. And do you feel you're ready for ARM 64, or is that still a work in progress?
No, it works pretty. I actually run there's this thing called Sylve.app, which we kind of I'll put in chat. So that's kind of like a DNS server. So every node gets its own like free DNS, Dyn DNS. So if you want to play around with it, you can, and that is hosted on ARM 64 on FreeBSD.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So it's in ports, or do you have to build it?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Oh,
Is the ARM 64 in ports, or
it's
how
in
does
ports.
one get that?
It's all in ports.
Okay, so we could have a 0.3 on ARM 64 in
We
hours or
had
days.
ARM 64 before as well, but just not VMs. And even now, I haven't
Yeah.
tested out VMs much because most of the hosts that I have are only, they don't support like nested virtualization. So I kind of have to, but jails work great. So that's primarily what I use it for
Yeah,
now.
no, that's
So
cool. And I believe there's a talk at EuroBSDcon about the state of ARM 64 FreeBSD. So jails were great. VMs are, I'll just say, work in progress. Very, very cool. Any questions for Hazen? Okay. I hopefully just things are coming together, and we have a tool that showcases the nifty things in FreeBSD. So I'm very excited about that. Uh, Patrick, let's just quickly run through the various TrueNAS Core forks. Have you tried either BSD NAS or FreeCore, which have just shown up
Okay.
this like last week?
I was approached by a regular on the TrueNAS forum on IX Systems 1, now Linux only. And we had been discussing ZVault.io and the direction of TrueNAS Core and everything after IX took it down. And I know two or three things. First, the ZVault.io website is down.
Oh, didn't know that. Okay.
The host answers, but it delivers a 0 byte document to each HTTP request. Freecore.org is a single person project. The person of unknown gender used AI to strip TrueNAS of proprietary bits and port it to FreeBSD 15.1. The FreeCore 15.0 release supposedly runs on FreeBSD 15.1. Ironically, where they explained a bit where they came from, that the project went much better than they assumed initially, so they went public, is all happening in the ZVault GitHub issue tracker.
How interesting. So
So
naturally.
I'll fetch the link and add it to the document. I have not looked at BSDNS for now, and I wrote a comment, a lengthy comment on that issue in the ZVault GitHub, and I think that ship has sailed. It's dead,
Okay.
Jim. I mean, seriously, come on, the whole architecture compared to Sylve with a single Go binary and the modern web front end, and compare that to IX Systems middleware. I don't want to use TrueNAS Core anymore.
Uh, and one quick point on BSD NAS. I couldn't help but notice that it says it's GPLv3, which I
Oh my God.
don't recall all the components being under that license from upstream, such that this
Well,
will be interesting.
some components. When we first discussed forking TrueNAS Core, IX Systems went through all the source files that didn't have a copyright yet
Hmm.
and put them under GPL.
I see. Fascinating.
Nice poisoned gift.
Uh, Okay, so on the Z-Vault site.
Get
Okay, well, we discussed it. It's fascinating that these are all happening so quickly at this late date, although this seems to be them pulling off the impossible of getting a 15 build. Out of morbid curiosity, I'm willing to try it, given that no one else could yet pull off, 14, 15, or 16 because of either dependencies or otherwise. So, Godspeed, project leads. Those are the topics I wanted to get into specifically. If Emil drops in, hopefully he can describe that virtiofs progress. Actually, let's do a quick look at the reviews. I think the second one was the most interesting. In the context of 9P and Doug's work and others, I think the more the merrier. Oh, reviewer. This I learned. I'm a reviewer. It's been a lengthy discussion and supporting the device drivers. Okay, so I recall this touching quite a few components. virtiofs in dev, fantastic. Let's go look at the files. So yeah, very kernel level, and I'm very glad that he is making progress. So things like, hey, we have a new component within reach. Let's look at the others. Is anyone present using virtiofs on other OSs? If it's, be it Linux to VMware, something like that. I'm all ears because this is a path, folks. A Summers, excellent. I know these
I
people.
think it's mainly useful because stuff like OpenSense, right? They can kind of, which happens to run a lot on things like Proxmox. People
Mhm.
run it a lot. And there, this is especially useful because you can kind of do some amount of proper, file system like stuff. More than I think bhyve, this that is where this will get used at, because that's where the virtio balloon driver gets mostly utilized, because it still isn't being used by bhyve, but it is used when FreeBSD itself is virtualized, which is kind of cool, because all Linux virtualization platforms kind of support all kinds of
Mhm.
virtio, because that kind of originated from there.
Now, I understand it's a lot more POSIX compliant than, say, 9P FS.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
I've never used. Yeah.
Because the joke is NFS not a file system and all the shortcomings and surprises. So yeah, this
And
is quite exciting.
speaking of
Hopefully hit 16 soon. Go ahead.
still running on OpenSense, because a client of mine wanted it to run on an edge device which only had OpenSense running, and they kind of didn't want to go through the rigmarole of installing FreeBSD 15. And
Hmm.
since the latest version of I mean, the latest version of OpenSense is based on FreeBSD 15.1, I think.
Hmm.
It just and that was cool because
And
it's
I, for
binary,
one,
so it just works.
Go ahead, Andrew.
I for one do run OpenSense on bhyve, so
It's a thing. Uh,
it's a thing.
so Hazem, do watch for the syntax landing. So hopefully it's not too difficult to integrate into Sylve when it lands.
The issue is
Mo, go ahead.
uh, most people, like, they run very, very different versions of FreeBSD. So
Hmm.
I have to kind of hold myself back from using anything new. Like for the last 6 months, actually, Roman had committed the work for allowing for frame buffer VNC stuff onto libvirt. But I kind of had to still use the old syntax, because not many people have updated to libvirt 12.5, which where it was introduced. So, you have to kind of wait until everybody comes on the same page.
True, but we live with moving targets all the time. So, I mean, some of us have waited decades for features. So, yep, that's the nature of the beast. I will be asking about root on virtiofs because the 9P requires bhyve load, which is arguably a security issue, and people prefer not use that. So, I don't know if there's any UEFI support for it, but that would be quite lovely. So I don't know if anyone's worked on that, but that's one to watch. So very cool. Thank you for those insights on OpenSense. Cool. Let's see, Santi, it's been quite some time. Do you want to catch us up just broadly and kind of with a preview of how you've been using these tools?
Yeah, why not? So
Cool, thank you.
I guess the main changes is we move from old IOCage, VM, bhyve to Sylve. We track the current or the main release. So every time Hisam commits something, we are also testing and giving feedback. But we can say that it's almost rock solid for our use. We are not doing anything crazy, just standard clusters with a few members, PCI pass-through on them. Not, I would say not much more than that. I'm just still waiting, to be honest, for the changes that they are proposing for for FreeBSD bridges on multicast. That's gonna be nice, especially if you're using CARP today. You get packets on all your VMs or jails that are on the same bridge. So that's gonna be nice. But apart from that, yeah, radio silence, no time.
And is that also an IPv6 issue? Because I believe there were some
I guess it will.
hangups there. Jan could enlighten us.
Yeah.
Eva, I understand you tried Sylve some time ago and had found a few rough edges. Has it been a few versions back and it's now time to revisit?
I'll need to try out the newest version. It was about a month ago.
Got it. Awesome. Please do reach out. Hazem, thank you for being so responsive with so many people around the world.
One question about the multicast for CARP issue. We run CARP with jails on stock FreeBSD without any problem while sticking to the old-fashioned way. So we have not yet moved to 15 and not yet made use of Lexi's new bridge implementation that is VLAN aware. So we create a link aggregation, we create VLANs on top of that, and then we create one bridge per VLAN and assign the jails with IOCage to the individual bridges. And all the old caveats hold, like bridge member must not have an IP address configured. Never. And if you stick to that, then multicast and CARP on a FreeBSD bridge works perfectly, in my experience.
We use the same, never use IPs on bridges, and the same setup. I've been getting alerts from WASU, actually, that they were dropping packets, and I was like, why this jail is receiving drops all the time? And it was multicast from one jail that it was sending CARP, the Keep Alives, and it was arriving to all the jails. I need to check, but I saw it.
And you did not have any layer 3 address on any bridge member?
No, we never use layer.
That strikes me as odd, because it works for me. Sorry.
But have you seen, as far as I know, there is no filtering so far for multicast. And it matched with the changes that have been pushed into the revision, where it brings multicast filtering per port for the bridges. And that's why I stopped checking, actually. I was like, okay, it's because of that. But it could be something else. We are running 15.1, and I'm not sure, again, if it was happening before.
We're still on 14.4 at the moment for our house. And you used to work up until now.
Okay.
14.4. Patrick, was that partly a question or just a comparison of your notes?
Sort of. I just wanted to ask if there may be something wrong in their configuration, but apparently not. So,
Patrick, do you have a way to smoke test 15 15.1 in your configuration?
Not quickly and easily, and definitely not before the conference.
Got it. Because if there's a bug, we should chase down the
I
bug.
mean, everything on our pro server environment is more or less production. We have test hosts, but they all run from the same code base. It's all one big Ansible
Sure.
inventory.
Okay.
So we will move to 15.2 or something when that is ready.
Cool.
That's the plan for now. For 14.5 and then 15.2.
I heard jails come up. Has anyone caught Jan's recent pair driver, not e-pair, that's pulling about, oh gosh, what was it? 350 gigabit per second through two jails with VNet. It's in the jail call document. Let's ping him, but he's wrapping that up, and we'll mention at the Dev Summit.
How much you said?
I think 350 instead of 400 gigabit, but 350 or 375 last I heard. Actually, to talk pair. So I've got some notes from him that perhaps I can share. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, it's configuration syntax. Let me see if I've got performance notes. Anyway, I'll see if he can join. He's been quite active. But yeah, watch for the pair driver. It's a high performance interface for jails and VNet. So you get the benefits of VNet with ridiculous performance. Other topics, questions, ideas?
I just wanted to make a quick note
Please.
about the various TrueNAS folks that are coming
Yes,
up.
sir.
I just wanted to say that, I feel like people should just let core die at this point, because I was reading some Reddit posts yesterday. Okay, this might not be indicative of the larger community at hand, but the problem is people really kind of have this aversion towards jails now, because how kind of weird it was to make core work with it, and how applications did not support it and things like that. And they just kind of see Docker now as the end all be all solutions to everything. And it's just sad to see. But I really hope people just let it die.
Hey, Saba, I wholeheartedly agree. If you will, please take the time to read my comment on GitHub. It's dead, definitely.
Yeah,
It's
just sad that,
last.
people are spending time, development, and even AI. Like, I'm sure it costs money. It's not free, right?
It's a little bit like PHK's comment on Squid compared to Varnish. It's just last century software architecture. And if I compare it to what you did with Sylve, these are worlds apart. So just embrace the new hot stuff and go with it.
I mean, sure, like you can say it's not feature compatible. That's fair, very
No,
fair.
of course not.
But either move to scale, or do something else. That's kind of my position on this. And the other thing is, the foundation has been kind enough to sponsor my work on Podman integration, and I've been working with Michael from Daemonless as well to
Yeah.
get applications
Cool.
and he has a huge suite of applications which is very useful to me, because I don't have to build them on my own. And these are really production grade, because they spend a lot of time testing it. And I actually have this running in so many places right now, because it's so light, and it uses S6RC, and it's just all around a great solution. And it's funny that some applications that kind of require Linux in some ways, they've made it work so beautifully that you won't feel like you're running on FreeBSD anymore, ironically. And yeah, I've been working very closely with Michael and the rest of the CNPG team, the cloud native stuff. They are really great, and they are getting Kubernetes working on FreeBSD, which was insane to see, because they kind of ported the entire thing in one go without AI or anything like that, and it works. like pretty well. They've gotten Postgres to work on it. They've gotten traffic and stuff like that to work inside Kubernetes on FreeBSD. And yeah, because a lot of enterprises these days kind of need Kubernetes, even though it might not be a very good idea. But yeah, it works great. And they also use daemonless images to test and stuff. So yeah, I'm very happy with this, and I feel like this will be a much better solution overall.
Is it formally integrated into Sylve, where you just say, "Hey, pull from here"?
Not yet. I probably will push it like next week or something like that, because
okay.
the changes are not much because I'm using Podman underneath.
Okay.
I'm not doing my own stuff. So yeah, I've been testing with some people in Discord, because we kind of dog food this for at least a month or two before I push anything. And I try to get at least 60 to 70% test coverage now, so that people don't run into these things in production, which is why I think testing is kind of important. And even though it takes time, it's worth it. I think at this
Yeah.
point, we have more test code than core code on Sylve.
Fantastic. This is the way. And the Michael's site has been upgraded significantly since even a few weeks ago. The comparison on the first page is lovely. People couldn't help but notice there are more applications here than on popular newer versions of TrueNAS. And so, yeah, this is really impressive. And his documentation and guides have been really good, like rationale guides, which are always helpful because you have to wrap your head around such projects. So let's see the experience of AppJail. Okay. Comparing to AppJail, choose Podman. Here's why. Oh, and advice. Pick one if you want this, pick the other if you want that. Coexistence, using both together. Well, just it's the right attitude. I'm so impressed with him. I hope his ears are burning. Root privileges, security model, root. Anywho, so yeah, that and one useful appliance, and Joe, just so it's on your radar, this came up on a call, and it was like, well, simply I forget which cache, was it Varnish? It was I think Varnish, a cache for, say, your packages, such that at a conference in, let's say, Canada, you could say, hey, attendees, please aim here, because if you're on 15 and 16, the fresh packages are here so that 200 attendees don't slam the official Canadian FreeBSD mirror. So he had a dedicated document on that, but that's in the jail call. So basically, wow. Let me go search for PKG. Daemonless package cache. Boom. That. So anyone here, say, preparing for a presentation and having to install FreeBSD about 50 times in service of that, here is a tool that you should probably have on your network. So yeah, I'm blown away with his work. Thanks for bringing that up, because yeah, note in the package cache, because that alone can save genuine resources. Boom.
Michael, one comment.
Yes,
Sorry.
please. Yes, sir.
You put losing packets here. We are not dropping packets. It's that the packets are being forwarded to all the members of the bridge.
Thank you.
That is incorrect, yeah.
Yeah, nope. We were having packets forward to all members.
Yeah.
Cool. I try my best.
Of course, Porsa don't have a listener on that multicast group, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm a storage guy, not a networking guy, and thank you for correcting that.
The Daemonless is news to me. So these OCI compatible images, are these Linux images in a sense? So they are just the standard stuff from upstream, or are they specifically built from FreeBSD packages? Because, for example, there's frequently the situation that our package system lags behind what upstream, who does not really want to support FreeBSD or Linux, provides. For example, the Elasticsearch and the entire Elk stack is in a complete mess stuck on an outdated 8 dot something version with updates on the bug tracker. The tickets are all there. The porting work has been done, but for some reason they don't get committed. And so I would be interested in knowing if with Daemonless I get current Elasticsearch 9 because it's all just binaries and it runs through the Linux isolator or whatever, or if we're stuck with what the FreeBSD ports and packages system provides.
Okay, so in Daemonless, how it works is they build images for all streams. So they build a nightly, for packages are supported, of course. They build a nightly and then they build a latest version from ports and also the quarterly version. So you can kind of pick what you want. And the other thing is I don't think they have even a single Linux container or anything related to that. In fact, what they have is they have this really, really nice build system, which kind of builds on top of package and ports and all that kind of stuff. And they layer on top of it. So they use as much as they can. And then they use GCHR, the GitHub's action runner or any action runner for that matter to build out these images that people can just port. So the whole stack is actually FreeBSD. They start off with a bare bones OCI image that the FreeBSD project provides, and then builds on top of that.
Oh, the official image?
But for any concrete upstream software product, like e.g. Elasticsearch, we are stuck with what we have in the FreeBSD parts collection.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
It sounds like they're building their own nightly and latest. That's not the official project ones. They're working around that.
No, I mean like some projects do need patches because they kind of can't be built right on top of FreeBSD. A good example of one of them is an image that I contributed to called Bulwark. It's like a mail client, the newest JMap mail client, and their issue was that it's just a web application, but the build requirements for that web application requires some form of Linux to be running. So what we would do here is we would kind of patch that over, sort of like the ports tree, just so that we can build that specific application. So there are some patches on FreeBSD.
Oh, no kidding.
So
okay.
Some patches like that, which we have to make, but largely it's contained within the dbuild system. So the dbuild system kind of lets you do that patchwork like kind of seamlessly. And that's how I'll just paste the link in chat because it's very easy to contribute as well. If you are, kind of looking to bring over apps from the Linux only kind of ecosystem.
Just check, we don't have Elastic at all, so it does not fix that problem. Maybe in Brussels we can talk. We have this FreeBSD Foundation sponsored project to improve the Java ecosystem, and I hope something good will come out of that for Elastic, Logstash, and friends too.
Did it fall out of ports? Maybe in the history it's hiding there. Let's see. Well, Eva, do you want to chime in on your comment? Elaborate. And here's the device.
I was just going to mention that the concern about OCI packages really is mostly a matter of ownership, right? Like I have a bunch of custom containers that I maintain for the ZFS storage system. This is not for this call, but and those are in a private repo and so forth, your registry and so on and so on and so on and so on. I think the larger concern about the FreeBSD OCI packages is that we don't have like a centralized sense of ownership over the direction of when do the containers get updated. What are we doing for a base container? Are we doing a unified base container or individual custom ones for say Elasticsearch gets this type of thing every time, or is it layered on top of a base minimal container, which has either direction has its benefits, right? So I guess the jails call might be a better way to bring that up, since wasn't that originally where the OCI
That
project
very much,
came out of. Yeah.
very much so, but at this point, there's so much overlap because, hey, everything everyone's describing here is generally on ZFS, so it's like, well, yeah. But I
Oh, for
do
sure. I
believe
don't
there
mean
are
to
three
halt the
variants on
conversation.
the official containers, such that that might be addressed. And it sounds like, Hazem, you can describe. If I caught you correctly, you start with the bare OCI container, which sounds like the FreeBSD upstream one, and then build on that.
Yes, yeah,
Um,
yeah, right, yeah. So you can have
please.
variants if you want. So in this case, if you check the config on the debuild page that I mentioned, what they do is they have the latest variant and the quarterly variant and things like that. So you can either build on top of that, or you can have another base image. For instance, if you have an Nginx tail and a container, and then you want to build on top of that, you can use that so that you don't have to build the Nginx stuff underneath. So that's pretty nice. You can go, I think, further down. There's
Yeah,
a specific.
26 responses. Build all variants, build one variant. Okay. Per variant baselines, variant tag. Okay, yeah, you've thought about this. And I trust any Loki references are purely coincidental.
I think you got past it.
Okay.
It was just a
Stop me when time comes, I'll pop back up.
If I got Eva correctly, then we again hit the elephant in the room that it's pretty easy to build a container or any deployable image for any application from scratch. But what IX Systems tried with Jails on their first PCBSD inherited architecture, then with IO Cage, then with Kubernetes, and now with plain Docker, you actually have to own the application and you have to employ lifecycle management because users of these one-click install applications expect timely updates. If there's a security update for example, Nextcloud, you have to roll that out. Well, a week is long. 2 or 3 days or something after an upstream update is what is expected, and sometimes even necessary because you have remote code execution or whatever. And well, I'm not saying that I have a solution for that. It's all just a heck of tedious work, and somebody has to own the application in question and update all these containers. Just as an anecdote, somebody complained on the TrueNAS forum that there haven't been any app updates for more than a week. Well, the single person who was responsible for committing merge requests to the TrueNAS app catalog was on vacation. And that was that. So people could not update their image, Home Assistant, whatever apps. Or and every open source project that tries to establish an app ecosystem or a container ecosystem, I think, faces the same challenge.
Yeah, you break it, you bought it.
There's a
Go
slight
ahead.
difference there in the sense that I just linked the Nextcloud image, which is one of the most painful images to build. I mean, at least one. And what these guys do is the fact that, okay, imagine there's a new commit on Nextcloud. So the whole system is kind of integrated in the sense that when a commit is seen, or like a new build or a new release is seen, this whole machinery runs on its own, and it only waits for somebody to intervene when things kind of break. So a very good example of this is Jellyfin. There's an application I host with Daemonless, and I think 2 weeks ago they had like a security stuff that they pushed, and within minutes I saw like the runner on GitHub kind of building the latest Jellyfin version for FreeBSD for Daemonless, and within minutes I got it, kind of podmin update.
Okay. So this system is not relying on the upstream ports ecosystem.
No, not exactly. If you're using the latest nightly branch, you can kind of pick, right? Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yep. And
Is
there
that
is
how
some
to what? Go ahead.
maintainer has to do. So for instance, they kind of have to build out the image, but it's not much work. He has made it really, really, really painfully simple. So it took me like a day to get the Bulwark image up and running, and that is sort of a complicated image because of the whole Linux Node.js dependency stuff. But yeah, it's really, really simple. So any port maintainer or any ports committer can just easily go through this and add in more stuff. It's really not difficult.
Is it less frictionful than FreeBSD ports committing? I mean, are these often the same maintainer for FreeBSD ports, or is a completely set of people, different set of people working on one of your ports? Because I see some duplication of effort there, and hopefully
I'm
we don't want
most of,
one languishing and the other one like cutting edge. I mean,
yeah, most of the people who commit these ports upstream, right? I don't even think they realize that something like daemonless exists.
okay. Oh, got it.
So
Okay.
they kind of don't rely on them because the problem is their code or review process is not the issue. The communication becomes the issue. Like
Hmm.
they have to talk back and forth, right? So what Michael did was he kind of went, on the other end, and he just tries to make it work without them. And if in case there is something really, really going wrong, he would contact the upstream committer or the upstream project itself.
Got it.
I'm glazing over Daemonless so much because it is insane how much work has been put into it, and how good it makes the entire ecosystem look. Because it is so seamless to the point where I'm rushing to build a nice GUI on top.
Okay, well, yeah, well, we can stop the call right now if it helps you do that. I mean, you can get to work. Hazen, I'm misspelling. Loving Daemonless. Okay, wow. And keep reaching out. I hope we don't have like multiple Nextcloud porting communities on the same OS platform. So yeah, deduplicate whenever possible, but it sounds like you're doing really well so far. Just saying. Heaven forbid someone's heard of Daemonless but never heard of FreeBSD and ports, and they're sort of reinventing any wheels or contributing in the wrong place, and finding that balance is always a challenge. But hey, please keep communicating. Great work. Other cool discoveries. I have a very virtualization related mind warping one to share very briefly. And oh, Eva, you have one also. I have a Lenovo Snapdragon laptop, the X13S, not to be confused with the X13S. One is Snapdragon, one is Slim. But S and Slim would be appropriate because Slim's in Latvian is sick. So FreeBSD has been hitting Mount Root, and there's a forum post and a report of all those issues. It's kind of frustrating, but Hyper-V works quite well. And to do something like install FreeBSD, install XRDP, one can have a full screenable FreeBSD system on ARM64 under Hyper-V, under Windows 11. And there's a risk I will give my presentation with that because yikes, but it works. There is no nesting, but that's okay. That's a big ask. But yeah, that machine was useful in that very roundabout configuration. So yeah, if you happen to find one on eBay like I did, go ahead and try that. You'll be pleasantly surprised. And they're on the bhyve topic from the jails call, of course. There are rumors that between Kyle Evans and perhaps Mark Johnston, there is Apple Silicon FreeBSD nesting bhyve on, whereas the first guest is FreeBSD, but then a second bhyve guest is working apparently on M3 and newer MacBooks and friends. So I hope to collect all those facts before EuroBSDcon because that's quite compelling because they are very fast systems, and I don't know what the performance overhead is for that nesting, but apparently Debian nesting Debian is working without too much effort. So yeah, it is technically FreeBSD bare-ish metal on a hypervisor, if you call that bare metal, at your fingertips. Available at Costco. Other cool thoughts, ideas, questions. and Joe, especially in your precious time, being able to drop in. Any questions for the group? Any broad, the classic poll of quick off the top of your head, what are your top feature requests on anything relating to be it FreeBSD or bhyve or jails or OpenZFS?
No, I don't. I think the live migration stuff is a priority for a lot of people.
Yes, sir. Continue.
No, I don't. I just thank you for doing this. This is really helpful to coordinate all this.
My pleasure. Talking to a certain very prolific OpenZFS developer who's been prolific here, it's the cadence, and this came up at a recent conference where biblically we have the weekly schedule, and I found if you do a monthly meeting and then you find that plug meetings fall on often 4th of July every year, you have to decide if it's the Wednesday or you skip a month, and once you skip 2 months, everyone's forgotten everything that they discussed last round. And so it's awkward, it's time consuming, but it's brought some amazing people together. And at this very, very moment, we kind of need we need DCH to answer some of the questions. We need Michael J, who was on, I think, Tuesday, to answer their questions. Maybe it will become one all-around mega call, or we need to diversify into the LLM call and the networking call. And I don't know, but thank you all so far for just taking this in really useful directions that are delivering some very, very cool things. Oh, Paris. Yes, Santi. Okay, so let's see. Oh gosh, how can I best do this? Just one moment, everyone. Let's shift gears because this is quite cool. And Hazem, I want you to see this if you missed it. So if I was to do jail zones call, just one moment. And I did nudge Jan, but obviously it's evening there, and he joined remarkably late. So yesterday, so I forgive him. Just one moment, and this is totally public. This is right off the main agenda page for the jail zones call. So let's do a quick look at pair. And for those listening, that was Santi's comment in chat. So I will bump this up and Hazel, I wanted to ask you yesterday. Do you have what is it? I think it's net info. It was that graphical dashboard that FreeNAS briefly had. Net data, I think is the name. It was useful to just show your boss the pretty stuff and they walk away and stop bothering you. So it was really useful for that. Okay, here is mention of him doing that, but where are the numbers? Oof. Yep, okay. Nope, not helpful, but let me drop the syntax in here for your viewing pleasure. Grabbing that. And hopefully I can pull up even a repo for you. Disadvantages, advantages. Here we go. Using classic Chelsea to make that 700. Nice. Gosh, I wish Jan could jump in and have the answers, but I think I've got some performance data I can draw just to tease you thoroughly. But yeah, and Jan will be in Brussels, so catch his description at the Developer Summit. And I'm scrolling. There's so much information flowing across my desk. So yeah, I will get some of his numbers. I believe I have them. And other questions, ideas while I do that. Funny jokes, t-shirt ideas. And Joe, there is a non-zero chance you know something about how FreeBSD Foundation is handling licensing for use of the logo. Someone reached out to me some time ago about the bhyve logo, and because it's in Illumos and FreeBSD, it's not purely a FreeBSD thing. So maybe broadly, we know Kirk does the Daemon licensing. So it's a gray area, and if maybe we can bring this up at the Dev Summit or some forum, that'd be great because people don't know what to do.
Do
Yeah,
we have do we have technically like a specific parent organization like the OpenZFS does?
Oh, well, the OpenZFS one's pretty hands-off. The FreeBSD Foundation is very hands-on when it comes to, say, FreeBSD specific legal issues, etc. So at least there's a brand guideline for OpenZFS, but when it comes to a usage policy and dare I say enforcement, that's a pretty under established realm of the world.
I mean, I guess we haven't had a lot of need to have a discussion about that. So
Bingo, but maybe this is a good time in general, just for all these projects to say, hey, just let's be, a simple policy is awesome, just we have to kind of have it and share it and make it available to people. Logo usage policies. Does anyone have some good, bad, and ugly stories relating to logos and projects just somehow? And then, of course, if I'm to make a t-shirt that supports call for testing and I make like $3 on it or something, well, that's pretty fair game. If it's bhyve, it becomes, well, should Illumos and FreeBSD get a portion of those sales? And then if it's OpenZFS, well, should it be
well, OpenZFS it would go to the OpenZFS's project stuff through.
That's the theory. But it's also a lot of work to maintain all that. So it's like, well, what's it look like? And often it's like splitting pennies to approach that. So it is a topic hot on my mind. For those who need a preview, these came out nicely and I went with a quality shirt, but I'm holding up a bhyve shirt and there's a call for testing shirt and a mug and such. Anyhow, please think about those broad topics, listeners included. I'd love to know the good, bad, and ugly on such policies because OpenBSD had a amazing merch market until it went a bit sideways and there was some drama and unhappiness. And so those were good times in Europe and there were lessons to be learned. Other topics, questions, ideas, thoughts? Well, we all have our marching orders. I can stick around a few minutes, and if that's that, Patrick, would you like the honors?
Of course. Like and subscribe, folks. See you next time. Everybody have a good time and see you in Brussels, as many of you as can manage.
Dankeschön.